Yes, it's Monday. And what do we do on a Monday? Well, in the UK right now, we watch a funeral for hours. But we're not doing that today. We're not anyway. We're going to talk about ghosts. Hooray! How have you all been? I hope you've all been fantastically well. It is a bank holiday today, which means that when we do Reddit Corner later, Bekah won't be getting bothered by me while she works because she's off. Hurrah! And we have a show full of paranormal purveyance for us to ponder. Triple P. Before that, what have you all been up to? Let me know. Why don't you shout it all out now in like one long sentence together? Go! Really? Okay. Well, what have I been doing, you ask? Thank you for asking. Well, I spent around 2 hours and approximately £15 downloading a number of ghost apps or alleged ghost apps where they speak to you, they do all that sort of jazz. I'll be trying them out later, not during Reddit Corner, but just as a little bit of a let's see if they work. In fact, I'll be honest, that's the review that we're going to do. Paranormal. Oh, ow, I just banged my head on the microphone. That's what you get because I move around when I talk. Now I've got a sore head. Silly me. But yes, today's paranormal review will be 3 paranormal apps, and we will review them individually and give them all a little test. So that's going to be fun. What else is new? Well, we took the cat to have her bum checked out, if you must know. You may have picked up on this already if you're a Patreon, but when we took her there anyway, the vet said, "Oh, fine, but what I've done," she said, and I don't know whether you need a trigger warning for this, but yet there now will follow anal discussion. Please skip ahead 10 seconds if you don't like anal discussion. She said, "I've emptied her anal glands." And I was like, "You done what right now? What's that now? What's that you say? What are these new things I never knew we had to worry about as cat owners?" And she's like, "Yeah, they were full." So that might be why she was like scooting along the floor, trying to empty them herself. But I've done it. And I was like, "Do I have to do this?" Because by the very description of the words, I don't think I want to. And she was like, "No, no, you can just bring her here. I mean, you can do it yourself if you'd sooner." I was like, "No, no. Even if you said it was £300, I would give you them and say, empty that gland, for I am not." Or plural. I think it's glands. Anyway, enough of that bottom talk. Let's reverse out of this anal cul-de-sac and instead move on to our Patreons. Now, when you sign up to Patreon, not only do you get 2 additional shows each and every week, you also support the show and you also get your name sung out as a thank you by me. Yes, you do. Just sat on my vape too. Everything's going wrong today. And and there's also a back catalogue of Patreon shows there. So if you sat there thinking, you know what, we need to talk about ghosts, but I've listened to all my shows, I've got nothing to binge, there is literally over 100 hours worth of Patreon shows to binge through. Yes, there is. Go binge away, like some person who can't say no to cake, but podcast cake. Anyway, so when you do that, I will sing your name. And I'm about to do that now for these people. The guitar is well and truly out. We have 6 wonderful new Patreons today. We have Logan Capria, Angela Miles, Ashley Rivers, Fanny Garcia, Ruben Serco, and Ali S. And this is for you. Logan Capria, Angela Miles, Ashley Rivers, you have signed up to Patreon. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Fanny Garcia, Ruben Serco, and Ali S. They've signed up to Patreon, you're keeping the show going. Oh. And I would like to say to you, oh, thank you for signing up. I hope you like those extra shows and the fact that I am gonna end this song on a 7th. Nearly. Just about ended up on 7th. I couldn't get my fingers in the right place. Oh, matron, but I couldn't. And I also couldn't get the exact note. So apologies for the dodgy 7th, but thank you for signing up to Patreon. If you'd like to join the crew, head over to patreon.com/we need to talk about ghosts. Now, let's review some paranormal apps, shall we? Yes, it's paranormal review time, where I review something paranormal so you don't have to. Now, as I said earlier, I went on a bit of a splurge and spent a couple of pounds on a few apps. Now, I bought 3 apps. This first one we're going to do, they all do the same sort of thing. They allegedly talk to the dead. Or to ghosties, if you will. So the first one we're going to try is one called Hope Spirit Box, right? Now, how you're meant to use this, it's a bit different than just the normal hit start and eventually some generated voice says, fish. And you're like, fish? Did you like fish? Feet. Oh, she's got feet. This one's got feet. It's not like that one. This one uses like a load of noises in the background. And what you do, you ask a question and you move the volume up and down, and then it delays and plays back that segment that you've chose the volume to be increased for, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like a bit like, what's that thing? Randonautica. It's a little bit like, the idea is the noise is already there playing, but due to synchronicities within the universe, you hear a reply to the question you've asked. You can also choose the sort of voice that it is. So you can have like child or mixed genders or middle-aged, older female, older male, young female, young male, etc., etc. So let's go for middle-aged mixed genders, and it's preparing audio. And now what you do is you say this. So there's a noise gate bar, which I ask a question, then move this to the max and then back down. Okay, and then it responds with something. So let me see. I'll ask the same question to all of the apps. So if you've listened, Ghosties in the House, to the last few podcasts, because I'm sure you have podcasting apps in the afterlife, you'll know that Bekah's encountered a few spooky things in the home. So I would like to ask one simple question. Is this house haunted? And if so, or two simple questions. Is this house haunted? And if so, why are you bothering Bekah? Let's see. There you go. As you can tell, that just said, oh, so. I'll ask the question again. Is this house haunted? And if so, why are you bothering Bekah? Roy? Is your name... Let's just ask. Is your name Roy? Last question. No? Okay. So that's the end of that one. So as you can see, I think you can have some fun with that one. Because I think eventually it will say something that will spook you out. But it will be pareidolia. You could buy these maybe for Halloween. They're about $2.99 each or something. So that was our first one. It was all right. I don't mind that one. This next one is called the Alice box. And you need to turn it on the app. There you go. We all heard that. Now, this is one of those where it like searches for ghosts and then comes up with something like a word. So I need to ask the questions again. Is this house haunted? And if so, why are you bothering Bekah? I'll have to edit this because I don't know how long it'll take to find a word. Now, interestingly, that said purgatory and cage as to why are you haunting the house. So let's just give it another go here. Okay, so you've said purgatory and cage. Are you in purgatory? By the way, purgatory was removed by the Catholic Church a long time ago, but we'll let you have it. Do you believe you're in purgatory or in a cage in this house? Cried and put. So as in like you cried because you were put in a cage? Was that? Was you put in a cage in this house or near this house? Arrived. Shit, I don't like that. I'm going to turn this one off now. As you can see, it can be very scary, that one. So that one was Alice Box. Now, this last one is called Spirit Talker. Now, what's different with this one is that this one can sometimes do sentences as opposed to just, words like cried, arrived. But if something has arrived, let's talk to that using Spirit Talker. So press start. There we go. Okay, so we believe that something's just arrived, as we've been told. Hello, can you please introduce yourself? We know that you were kept in a cage, and you think you're in purgatory, and you're haunting Bekah. Well, that's what we could come up with so far. She killed you. Bekah killed you. I don't think she did. I'll be perfectly honest. Or who did? Maybe you're not talking about Bekah. Who killed you? Tell us who killed you. Funny. Yes, I'm trying to be funny. It's meant to be a funny show. But, feel a bit weird now. What's funny? Tell us what's funny. Please say me. I've got a very fragile ego. George is funny. Well, I can see that this is going to be a lovely conversation that we've just not got time for, sadly, George. Anyway, let's give some ratings out to these there apps. I'd say Hope Spirit Box, which was the first one, where it just plays random noises constantly. You ask a question, you higher up the volume to get your answer. I like the idea of that, so I'm going to give that 2 thumbs up. Next, we got the Alice Box. Now, that one was the one where it said, what did it say? Oh, yeah, trapped in a cage and all that carry on. That was kind of freaky. That freaked me out, albeit just one word answers. So 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down for that one. I'm unsure. And the last one was Spirit Talker. Now, Spirit Talker's good in the way that it gives full sentences. But as you can see from that, unless we're genuinely going to believe that I'm in contact with a spirit who was killed by a woman called George, then that's as branded as you can get for entertainment purposes. The one called Spirit Talker, the last one, is definitely one that you want to download if you want to go and scare your mates, because it'll say things like, I'm in the closet, and things like that. I'm under your bed. I am a demon in the shadows, and all the obvious stuff. Whereas the first one, definitely, the Hope Spirit Box, because that relies on what you interpret the sound to be, and from looking at the app maker himself, he seems very much more down the attempt to be a genuine scientific look at the idea of like EVPs and communication, or ITC as it's more widely known, which is something like intertrans communication or something. I don't know. But I would say from the 3 that we've done, Hope Spirit Box is for your serious people who want to try and freak yourself out genuinely and maybe make contact with something. Middle one, Alice Box. It's going to freak you out, but it might be a bit of nonsense within there. And in third place, Spirit Talker. Good for a laugh. Going to freak out a group of people, but do take what it says with a massive, massive pinch of salt. So there you go. That's been Kev's 3 Paranormal app review for today. And yes, we've reached my favourite part of the show where we get to talk about your true paranormal experiences. And right off the bat, we've had an email from Charlie, and Charlie writes, So, I've listened to a few episodes already, and I wanted to share my own experience. Well, please do, Charlie. 8 years ago, I was in Chicago, Illinois, for school. I lived on campus and shared a room with 3 other girls. One of my roommates told me that she had experiences with some sort of paranormal being in our room. I was on the fence about whether to believe it or not, until one weekend when I was the only one of the 4 of us who stayed on campus for the weekend. Before I continue the story, I need to get into the layout of our bedroom. My bed was against the wall, just below the window, the only window in the room, and it faced outside. And I can assure you it was closed all the way, as was the door to our room. In the middle of the room there was a half wall that separated 2 of the beds. So anyways, back to the story. It was late on a Friday night, somewhere between 11 PM and 12:30 AM, and I was in bed, in the middle of falling to sleep. Everything was closed, the lights were off. All of a sudden, it sounded like wind was blowing in the room. Someone started laughing or making some sort of contented noise before saying, "Yes," in a creepy voice. It sounded like a man. Staying prone on my bed, thinking that the half wall and my covers would hide me for the moment, I turned my phone's flashlight on, then sat up, freaking out. I saw nothing, and there was nobody in my room. I got up slowly, my phone in one hand and my stuffed animal in the other. Yes, I was in my 20s at the time and still had a stuffed bunny in the corner of my bed. Looking around the room while I crept to the door to turn on a light. I made sure there was absolutely nothing hiding in the room. I even checked the bathroom, behind the door, and the shower curtain. The light above the bedroom door stayed on all weekend. Even with that, I was still creeped out. It felt like there was someone in my room watching me. I spent as little time as possible in my room that weekend, until my roommate came back. Now that was the end of Charlie's first email, but then she did follow up with the following. I do have to add that there were rumours about the land the school was on. One of the rumours was that the school was built on a Native American burial ground. Yes, you hear a lot of stories about things and places being haunted that were built on Native American burial grounds. There was also another rumour that the school was built on land where a battle was fought. Not sure when this battle would have been fought, and nobody really knew. And if you know anything about stone tape theory, this would also make sense. Things do tend to repeat and repeat, not knowing they're dead or whatever. I did some research about the property the school is on and couldn't find anything. No property deeds, nothing prior to the school being here. This wasn't in the best of areas in Chicago either. We were on a railway track and the building next door to the school was an abandoned building. I think this may have been some sort of time slip or dimensional slip. I'm not entirely sure though. Charlie. Why, thank you, Charlie, for sending in your detailed paranormal experience there. And it's a good point about, was it a time slip? Maybe. Time slips, because they're so rare and they're documented so infrequently, it's not like with ghosts where we all have these working theories, like stone tape theory, about what possibly might be causing the phenomena. We don't have that with time slips. So even to people who are in the paranormal field, you know, like I do this for a living now, and I'd like to think my research is quite up there. But if somebody said, what's your theory on time slips? I'd be like, I haven't got one, mate. And then I'd carry on crocheting. No, but it's a really interesting theory behind that, Charlie. It really is. So thank you for sending in your stories. If you've got an experience like Charlie, then send it in to contact@talkaboutghosts.com. And I will read it out, for that is our unspoken contractual agreement with each other. You provide, I read. Yes, let's have another email. Now, this next email is quite fitting time-wise, yes it is, because today, as I record this, is the Queen's funeral. It's all over the TV, and you will have heard me mention in the past about some memes that have portrayed Paddington Bear as kind of a psychopomp, you know, carrying the Queen's soul through to the afterlife. They'll be unaware that that's how they're depicting him, but they are. And this email is regarding a possessed Paddington Bear. Yeah, so how timely and fitting. Hi, Kevin. Hi. When I was 10, we moved from an old farmhouse to a new build house on an estate. We lived there about 15 years, and during that time, we had several spooky occurrences. These happened mainly to my brother, but included him seeing a girl sitting on the floor in my sister's bedroom, hearing footsteps in his bedroom, hearing his possessions being moved, things going missing and his bed depressing as if someone had sat down on it. My cousins reported seeing an elderly woman that they thought was my grandma walking out of my sister's room, and my mum once heard the hangers in her wardrobe clashing against each other as she lay in bed, although she also thought this was my grandma too. I often heard footsteps in empty rooms, but was never frightened as I tended to rationalise the noise. That's until one night when I watched a shoe slide across my bedroom floor. Then, about a year later, my parents had gone on holiday without me and left me to my own devices. I took the opportunity to spend as much time as possible with my boyfriend. I only had a single bed, so decided to stay in my brother's old room where there was a double. My boyfriend and I were lying in bed talking when the closed bedroom door opened fully and then closed again. I asked my boyfriend what he thought it was, and he said he didn't want to know. We both lay there until morning, too scared to move. I should mention that my brother also experienced this phenomena followed by footsteps walking into his room. A couple of days later, we came home from a night out and headed upstairs. Directly opposite the stairs was the study. I looked into the room and started to panic at the sight before me. My boyfriend also started to freak out and was nearly hysterical as he asked me how Paddington Bear had moved from my brother's room, where he was when we left the house, to the study. Immediately my fear was replaced with laughter, and I explained that there was more than one Paddington, and that my reaction had been because I'd left the study window wide open when we'd gone out. Needless to say, he was relieved to find out that Paddington wasn't possessed, and I was relieved to find out that the house hadn't been burgled. We moved from there about 18 years ago, and I often wonder if the new occupiers had any similar strange things happen to them. I've attached a photo of Paddington because I thought you might like to see him. Thanks, Lucy. And she sent on a picture of Paddington the psychopomp. That is a wonderful story, that, because, as you know, guys, I don't pre-read these, so I fully believed, because I could see there was an attached picture of Paddington, that we were going to get a terrifying possessed bear story. But no, there was no possession, but there was a haunted house. Very freaky. I wonder if it was like, like a watchful grandparent ghost or something. Fully aware that you and your boyfriend are being left to your own devices and like, I'm gonna open this door. There shall be no hanketh panketh under my roof, sir. Yes, I wonder if that's the case. And we of course won't mention or dwell on the fact that apparently every room had a Paddington bear. Clearly big Paddington bear fans, so you will have loved all of the recent coverage she's getting as a Grim Reaper type. Anyway, Lucy, thank you so much for sending that story in. That was really good of you to do so. If you've got a story you want me to read out on the show, again, contact at talkaboutghosts.com. Now, it's that time in proceedings where we normally go and interrupt Bekah from her busy working schedule and ask her to read out a ghost story from Reddit. But today is a special day here in the UK. It's a bank holiday. Nobody has to work unless they record podcasts on a Monday. Anyway, so she's not doing anything. We can just go and talk to her for ages if we want. And that's what we're going to do. This is Bekah's Reddit Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for Paranormal Reddit Corner with Bekah.
So, it's Monday. It is indeed the burial of Elizabeth II. But we still record, don't we?
We do.
There's, by the way, it's Reddit Corner. Hello, Bekah.
Hello.
Yes, hello. But everything in the UK has drawn to a standstill, hasn't it?
Everything.
Everything. And, like, it's gone from sublime to stupidity now.
Yeah, so, like, a normal bank holiday was announced, like, fine. Bank holidays, obviously a lot of things close, a lot of people are off work and school.
Yeah.
But a lot is still open, like, life still goes on generally on bank holidays. Yeah. No, sir.
No, sirree.
Not this bank holiday. No, sir.
Like, I mean, there's a thread on Twitter called Grief Watch, which has been taking note of the stupid things that have been getting closed, or the stupid, like, weird, people are in grief in the country. There's no doubt in that. I'd go as far as to say we're not necessarily in grief, are we, really?
No.
No? I mean, we respect the fact that the monarch has died.
Yeah, show it due respect, but we're not like one of those people who are like sobbing.
I've not cried.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But it's gone a little bit far now, isn't it? So, like, bike racks are closed.
Yeah.
So like you can't park your bike.
The National Cycling Association or something, I don't know, some organisation, sent out this press release asking people not to ride their bike on Monday. Like, what? Like, unacceptable.
Somebody on that grief thread has put, would it be disrespectful if I hang up my clothes to dry?
Washing.
If I stick to just black colours?
As long as I do just blacks, would that be alright?
And somebody has replied and said, how dare you? No, we are in mourning. Sorry. I'm like, oh my God, do people actually like this? I mean, I wear black every day anyway, so people might be assuming that, like Ari said. They might give me things like cakes.
They might.
So you never know. Every cloud. Anyway, how have you been, Bekah?
Yeah, I've been okay.
Yeah, anything to report in terms of ghost haunting a you or other house?
No, nothing.
No?
No, you?
No, I did think I saw a shadow wisp behind my back the other day. But then on closer inspection, it was the cat.
Right.
She crawled along the windowsill and hid behind a curtain. But as I was approaching the curtain, I thought, if she's not here, I'm going to freak out. But she was there.
She was there.
Yeah. So, of course, it's Reddit Corner where we ask you very kindly and politely to read a ghost story that we find on Reddit. And you read it out and you tell us your thoughts on it.
Yes.
So,
I know I've done Reddit Corner before.
It is your corner. I shouldn't be going through the rules. We're actually in the living room today because with it being an enforced bank holiday, you're off work, aren't you?
I am, yes. For once, I'm not getting hounded and interrupted when I'm trying to get stuff done.
So you're completely at rest doing this one.
Yeah, just chilling.
We'd also lose a day's pay because, grief.
Thanks a lot. Not you.
So here we go. This is the story from Reddit
that
I would like you to read on this, the most saddest of days.
Welcome to Reddit Corner with Bekah.
Thank you, Bekah.
The title of this story is My Story, Whether You Believe Me or Not.
Always a good opening line.
Great start, yeah.
I hope it starts with, like, the dragon who sleeps next door under a rock.
Let's begin.
I've
lived in this house for almost 4 years now. At night, for a while, my bed would be in the corner of the room, but facing the door. Every night, without stopping, I would feel a presence in the doorway, standing there watching me. No matter how many times I've turned on a light to see no one there in the hall, I always feel it watching me at night. I was robbed about a year ago, and I was trying to de-stress, and as I walk out of my room, a girl looks up and stares at me.
I was robbed about a year ago.
Yeah. Why are you so
Right.
confused with that?
As in robbed, as in things stolen from them.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Can I carry on?
Should have done say robed.
I was robed about a year ago. What does that mean?
No, that might be a really eloquent way of saying they had a bath gown on.
What? No.
Yeah, okay.
Can I continue?
Yeah.
What a weird interruption. Could I just say this could actually be a really unusual way? No, of course it's not robes.
You never know. Go on.
A girl looks up and stares at me. I think she's one of the robbers, but as I chased her out of the house, I reach the kitchen, and before I go to open the door, I see the door locked and a chair in front of the door the way I left it. To say the least, I was scared, but I didn't act like it because if you show your fear, that's all they will feed upon.
That's bollocks. If I thought we were getting robbed and I ran to the back door and there was a chair blocking its way and it was locked, my brain wouldn't go, it's ghost then. My brain would go, it's murderer then. It's someone who doesn't want me to get out and they're going to wait until I'm covered in blood.
Yeah, like they've come in a different way then, haven't they?
And can I just check, are you sure that didn't say, I was just making sure she wasn't one of the robers? Because you might have people who robe him.
Nice, yeah, right.
Anyway.
See, shouldn't have interrupted me, should
I shouldn't have interrupted you now. I would have found out in due time.
Indeed. So impatient.
I know.
Literally, like, we'll put a film on that neither of us have ever seen, and Kev would be like, who's that? What's he doing? Why is he there? Does he know him? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, maybe we could just watch and see.
Yeah, I do say things like, does he know him? And like as if you wrote it.
Yeah, like, what happened before this? Like, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I didn't act like it because if to show your fear, that's all they will feed upon. So I moved my bed to the other side of the room, which made me put my full body mirror to the wall facing the door. I just wanted a different feel to try and feel better. The first night felt fine until I looked in the mirror and felt like I was about to see someone jump out of it. Luckily, I fell asleep before anything like that could happen. A year later, I'm still here. I feel them all the time, but I never let them know. When they do things, I pay them no mind. If I ever get out of this hellhole, I'll let you guys know. Until then, hello from the mover house. They like to move things, get it? If you have any questions, I'm open to answering. Would you pipe down?
I like to move it.
Could you pipe down,
Yeah,
please?
yeah. Sorry.
And to people wondering why I do nothing, this isn't the first time I've seen ghosts and had to deal with them, and it's the smartest way for me to not make them angry or upset. What? There is so much to unpack there.
There's a lot of like incoherent
much
ramble,
to
isn't there?
unpack
Good job. You know what we should get? Someone to proofread these.
Right, yeah, no, it's an idea, isn't it? Just a quick cursory glance before we begin. So, they see a girl, right, in the house. They try and chase the girl out of the house.
Yeah.
They
But
see
it's
that the
difficult 'cause
door.
he's got a robe on.
They see that the door is locked as he left it with the chair in front of it.
He didn't
And then
leave it with
that's
the chair
it.
in front of it.
No, he did.
He didn't. He says he comes down there's now a chair in front of the door, and the door is
No,
locked.
he says, I see the door locked and a chair in front of the door the way I left it.
Oh, okay.
So he's put it in, it'd be like to deter the robber because he's recently been robbed. So
Oh, okay. Right.
honestly, you are being very
I
difficult
know, yeah,
today.
I do apologise. Don't know why that is.
So he sees that the chair, like the door is locked the way he left it, and then that's it. We don't, no mention of the girl again. Like, where is this girl? Like, no, he doesn't even say she disappeared or anything. Just like nothing. Literally the next sentence is after that I didn't show them I was scared. Was that he just went and moved his bed in the room? Like,
Yeah, but I must admit, you know what? From someone
why
who
not mention
literally,
this girl?
as someone, me, who literally spends his entire week reading people's submitted ghost stories, I think I've become a little bit of a. There are traits that you pick up in doing that, which add up, for me anyway, authenticity to a tale as you read it.
How much honey did you put in that?
Lots, honey, because you're not sweet enough today.
Really sweet. I have a little bit of honey in my tea. Well, today I have. Why did you put in like a tablespoon?
No, well, I fill the spoon and a little bit more dribble over.
A little bit more.
All right, so I didn't use the spoon; I just squeezed.
Oh, it's really sweet.
It's all right though, and you can drink it.
It's really, really sweet.
You're
I'll
not
give it
gonna
another
turn
go.
into a bear.
I have to stop it.
Yeah, and I think, anyways, I can pick up authenticity within a tale, right? And I'll be honest, when they start mentioning about, and therefore I moved the mirror around and stuff like that, that to me adds a sort of air of authenticity. And I'll tell you why, because they're saying that as if you know the layout of their room.
Well, we do know the layout of the room because he told us the layout of our room.
Did he say where the mirror was previously?
Well, he said where the bed was.
Yeah, but he didn't mention this mirror, you know. But he's writing it as in to say, like he's talking to a friend, so as in to say, like, so you know where the mirror is, and da-da-da-da-da.
Open it again.
Okay. This is the phone she's talking about, because it's locked.
Yeah, because it locks itself.
No one's commenting.
No one's commenting because it's a weird story. Yeah, so I put the full body mirror to the wall facing the door. Fine. The first night I felt fine until I looked in the mirror and felt like I was about to see someone jump out of it. So there's nothing actually there.
No,
It's
that
just
implies some sort of paranoia, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah. And then immediately after, lucky I fell asleep before anything like that could happen. Like when you don't just instantly go to sleep when you're petrified.
No, it turns out you do. Like almost every story I get now says, I know it sounds strange, but I closed my eyes and eventually fell asleep.
Yeah, eventually, but you fell asleep before anything like that could happen.
Yeah, I don't think if I don't know.
Yeah, and a year later I'm still here. I think this person would benefit from some intervention, some kind of help.
Yeah, I think so too. When was that story wrote? Because I had to go to a different thread. I went to Ghosts, which are Reddit/Ghosts, which is where normally I get the stories from. And I went all the way back to last week's one before there was nothing there. Like there was stuff there, but nothing that you could read out. So we got all the way to Dino Poltergeist or whatever the name was, Dino Goth, and there was nothing there. So we had to go to Reddit/Ghost Stories, and this is from Nice Joe Bron. It was only 3 hours ago, so that's why there's no comment. It's relatively new. Right. We could actually comment and say like, why is it so unclear? We could report back next week to see what they reply.
We could. You have to be nice about it.
I know, and I don't know what my username is. It might be my full actual name, so maybe I won't. So they'll be like, well, let me tell you something, Kevin John Eustace of Liverpool 7. So yeah, there you go. So thank you for that, Bekah.
You're welcome.
What are you doing with the rest of your day? Given that there is literally not, you talk about like North Korea being state-run. Every channel in the UK, every channel.
Get on this, right? Yeah, every channel. Someone put up the screenshot of today, right? Like about 11 a.m.
What of the channel guide?
Yeah, the channel guide. And there's about like they've managed to capture about 12 channels in it, right? BBC, obviously, Queen Funeral.
Yeah, I've
2,
seen
Queen
Sky,
Funeral, 3,
every
Queen
Sky channel.
4, every Sky
Which is
channel.
50 odd channels.
Everything else over. Channel 5, the Emoji Movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Have they just not got the rights or something? Or they realising, well, wait there, maybe not everyone wants to watch this?
Yeah, I don't know. You are kind of supposed to offer like an alternative, aren't they? Because every channel originally, I know it's kind of drifted away from that, but every channel originally had like a mission statement that they had to keep within. So like BBC's was to inform and entertain, wasn't it, famously?
Right, okay.
But like Channel 4's was attracting an alternative audience, so they were aimed at like kind of teenagers and people on like younger adults, so that's why they could get away with things like Friends and that they put on, like in Hollywood.
We're talking about the 5 terrestrial channels now.
Yeah, the 5 terrestrial channels, yeah. So Channel 5's might have been something like different again, so yeah, like I guess they're offering
what to fly in the face of conformity.
Yeah. Yeah, no, just offer something different.
Yes, so if you are listen, you don't have to be a royalist to find it sad that a 90-odd-year-old woman has died. And one who seems to be a very nice person.
Yeah, you can give it the due respect, which is fine. But I do think it's gone too far. Like, they've closed food banks, which has annoyed me.
Yeah.
Like, how's that helpful?
Yeah,
like
and you put it best when we seen all these closures and impending, stopping the nation. We seen all that. And you put it best when you said, you know what? If there's one thing the Queen's remembered for, it's coming on during a pandemic, coming on during a war, saying we must carry on as usual.
Yeah.
We are British, we carry on.
During the Blitz, she refused to move out of London. She was like, no, we've just got to carry on.
As normal. Life continues in the face of adversity. Yeah. And now she's an enforced...
the personification of keep calm, carry on.
Yeah. And now it's an enforced state mourning.
Yeah, and some people, it's amazing how some
We're going off Ghosts a little bit, but we'll only do it briefly.
Yeah. Have you told them about the centre box thing?
No, hysterically.
This was amazing.
Yeah.
So centre box were forced to do.
Centre box is a holiday camp in the UK, but it's quite an expensive one.
Yeah, it's like an upmarket one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is like
it's like $3-4 grand a week or something.
Yeah, it's like really, really expensive. But they put out this thing saying that anyone there, basically, they were going to close the park from 10 a.m. on Monday on the day of the funeral until the day after the funeral, Tuesday. And anyone who was there had to go home.
Yeah,
and
come back.
And then come back on the Tuesday, had to leave at 10 a.m. on the Monday and come back the next day.
And eventually when...
So obviously everyone was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
No.
and it made national news, and then they backtracked. Obviously,
Yeah.
went, well, oh yeah,
They
okay.
backtracked.
Well,
And
we'll
just said,
we'll just close the stalls on site.
Yeah, like close like the cafes and stuff, and like the activities for a few hours while the funeral's, or maybe for the rest of Monday. I don't know.
Yeah, hysterically, Butlins, which is another holiday site, just put out a brief that just said we won't be closing, and it was like, what a move!
Yeah,
talk about shooting yourself in the foot. So
we'll
yeah,
just go for a walk. I think.
we're going for a walk today. Yeah, we found a bakery that will remain open, so we're going to just eat on pastries today.
Yeah, because I'm an absolute gallant. I was like, oh my god, everyone's closing.
Yeah, you went into a bit of a panic mode, didn't you?
And found a local bakery that is still open. It'd be nice to go there anyway because it's a little independent bakery.
Yeah, it will be nice. It'll be fucking rammed today, though.
Well, good. As they should be.
I mean, but like that, what I'm thinking is like Liverpool isn't renowned for being the most royalist city anyway. And if there's one shop open that sells food, it's going to be a queue down the street.
Well, I hope there is, because it's a little independent place, and I think it struggles. So.
Yeah, fair play. Okay then, guys. So, yes, if you are mourning the Queen, if you are on, like, day 8 of your mourning, or you're just mourning it today, you know, as I say, you know, it's sad when she does appear to be a lovely old lady. I've got a lot of time for the Queen. And even my Irish nan, who was not a royalist, she had a lot of time for the Queen.
Yeah,
because
and she's certainly iconic. Like,
Yeah,
no
she
doubt
is,
about it. Like that.
And you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody around her age. Like, as I say, my nan was older than the Queen. But my nan had a lot of respect for the Queen and a lot of hatred for the royal family. And the reason for that, I think, is because if you grew up watching her grow up, she would have been a constant sort of... Like, and I'm talking, like, not people who say, well, she's been my Queen since 1970 when I was born. I don't mean that. I don't mean you growing up. I mean, like, my nan was born in 1920 or 1918 or something. So, you know, if you've been born when she was born... and you've watched her grow up and she's been there as a steadfast thing, then I get it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to dictate what people can feel grief-wise.
Like in the 50s, just the only monarch they've ever known.
Like, yeah, well, I don't
50s
think...
and younger.
Yeah, but I don't... and me, though. And you.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I mean. It's like a main point of stay for a lot of people, in it?
Yeah. But so I'm saying, you know... But at the same time, you know, genuinely, maybe we just deal with grief differently. Up here, I don't know. But like when my own nan died, there was brevity, there was enjoyment, there was talk of good times. You know, it was more of a party feel. You had a good few hours of weeping and sadness, but it was more a celebration of life. This feels like fucking hell.
Yeah.
You know, anyway. Anyway, you can say too much.
Yeah,
I probably have.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go and get another cup of tea because this is actually gonna make my teeth fall out.
Yes. Well, you know, I haven't purposefully made a bad one so that you don't like it. And then you never ask again. So do ask me in the future. I don't
drink much tea. I have like a couple of cups a week.
Well, you'll less than that now, then, won't you? Caffeine's bad for you anyway. Says me.
Pints of coffee.
Right, okay. Well, thank you, Bekah, as ever. We will speak to you, of course, next week when we will be once again annoying you during your working hours.
Well, something to look forward to.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for visiting Reddit Corner with Bekah.
And me. Weird way to end it, but there you go.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.